Hey there, my Battlefield friends and fans. Welcome back to Battlefield Hardline for those of you who love this game as much as I do. Yes, we got the new DLC called Getaway yesterday, and I'm playing the first map here, Double Cross. It's the very first map I actually played. And I was kind of like out of sync with this game. I played Battlefield 4 for a little while. I played Fallout 4, played Tomb Raider and some other games. And I almost forgot how much fun I had in Hardline and how addictive it actually is. But it didn't take long for me to get back into the mood. So let's go! So the first thing I noticed right away was like, oh my god, I think I still have my score age with the night vision, because the last time I played the night map DLC, and then I moved on to the new maps of Battlefield 4. And I didn't really go back because there's so many games in between that didn't give me a chance to go back into Battlefield Hardline and look at that. It's a little hard to see people when you have night vision on in a bright, sunny Mexican/US situation here. Yes, this is actually supposed to be the US-Mexican border. That's the border crossing here, and as you know from the news and all, there's always a lot of crime happening here because, you know, the criminals are trying to get the drugs past this border underneath in tunnels and stuff. And there are actually tunnels here too. I don't know if you can see them. I don't know if I put them in this video. I basically tried to cut this video down from about 4 matches, to cut them down and just kind of show a few good moments. Because, you know, I didn't want this to be boring, because when I watch videos I want to see some action and I want to see some fun stuff. But this should give you a pretty good view on what this map actually looked like. And as you can see, I was actually shocked, you know, after playing Battlefield 4 for maybe like a couple of weeks or maybe even more than that, to realize how much more recoils a lot of guns have in Hardline. For example, you know, especially the battle rifles, they have an insane amount of recoil no matter how many attachments or what type of attachments you put on. It doesn't really improve the recoil, so you need a lot of skill for that. And I'm not that skilled, so for me it was really hard to get used to this recoil again. But you know, I didn't do so bad considering that I had I ran around with a battle rifle and a night vision instead of like an SMG like a lot of those other people, or just an assault rifle. So I, you know, was at the beginning I was like, oh my god, you know, I don't know the map, I haven't played this game in a while, and you know, I gotta get back in, I gotta warm up. This was basically my warm-up match. But, you know, you get fast back into the groove after you have taken a break from a game for a little while, and then you start playing it again because your brain remembers all the controls and functions and stuff, and you get back in. And I just found myself very addicted after about an hour, and I was like, oh my god, I know now why I love this game so much. And I don't know which game I love better, Battlefield 4 or Battlefield Hardline. I would say they're equally good, but look at that. When you look at this map, for example, and this is not the only map, there's 2 other maps in this DLC who are very similar to this map. Doesn't it remind you of Battlefield 4? This to me looks exactly like a map in Battlefield 4. Could be Battlefield 4 if there was tanks, it would be exactly Battlefield 4. So yes, you're haters. Battlefield Hardline is just like Battlefield 4, minus the tanks, of course. So now I'm trying one of the new 12 weapons, which is here the M5SD. That's an SMG that's available to all classes, and we'll see how it does. So first of all, we have to take care of those vehicles. The enemy team is really aggressive with vehicles and more vehicles. And as you know, if you've been following me for a while, I don't really do vehicles. Once in a while I do vehicles. I just love to play infantry. No matter what kind of FPS I play, I love to play infantry. I don't mind the vehicles. I like to ride in them to get faster from one flag to the other, or from one end of the map to the other end of the map. And I love to fly in helicopters because you have such a nice view over the whole map. But other than that, I really don't care so much about vehicles. And that's maybe funny coming from a Battlefield fan, but I I betcha there are a lot of people like me who just, you know, prefer playing infantry. And you know, if everyone would play vehicles, this game would become really, really boring. So the only thing is, for infantry people, vehicles obviously are a huge, huge pest. And we were playing here with an enemy team that was just really, really good. And I don't know if they were a clan. I think it looked like some of them were from a clan or whatever. They were really, really good, really, really aggressive. And our team was kind of like average. And so we had a really, really hard time holding our ground. But for me, this was just like getting back into Hardline, checking out the maps, you know, getting used to the guns, getting back into it, getting used to the feeling of it. And so I didn't take this so serious. I wasn't really like, oh my God, you know, we have to win and I have to be the one saving the day and stuff like that, like I sometimes do. I was just like, I don't even know the maps really well yet. I mean, slowly but surely I start getting to know the maps. But it always takes some time to really get to know the flanking routes. And once you really know a map, you can play a lot better than when you stand behind a wall and you think you're safe, and then somebody comes below you or above you, behind you, and you weren't even aware that there's an opening. Like for example, here in this room, you seem to be safe, but there's actually happened that somebody came from the roof, and as you can see here, there's a ladder. That's where the underground tunnels are. Look at that guy. He just comes through the roof, and I just saved my buddy here. Yeah, that's how it is, you know, when you don't know a map yet, you die a lot more and a lot faster. But, you know, I know that, you know, once I know the maps in and out, I'll definitely have a lot better matches. But I did have a ton of fun. And I just kind of intended to play, like, you know, a couple of hours. And then, you know, play more tomorrow and the following days. And attend my other games that I'm still playing. But you know what, I couldn't put this game down. This game is so addictive. I don't know why people have such a hate on this game. I mean, it's like so addictive, you know, especially when you just came from Battlefield 4 and you go back in here and you just realize it's exactly the same. I don't know why people complain, you know, unless those are all people that just love to ride in tanks the whole time, sit in a tank up on a hill and just kind of shoot and never get shot, and you know, they're afraid about their death kill ratio. I think that's really what it is. People are just, you know, they get their asses kicked. Sorry about saying that, but they get their asses kicked and they are upset about it, and then they automatically hate on a game. It is very, very normal. You know, it happened to me too. When I don't do well in a game, I don't like the game and I'm like, ugh. But, you know, again, don't say the game sucks, because the game is great. There's nothing wrong with the game. Just think about all the problems Battlefield 4 had and still has. And they kept fixing it and fixing it and fixing it and fixing it. And it caused more problems and more problems. And people complain and complain and complain. Battlefield Hardline didn't have any of this. Battlefield Hardline had a few minor tweaks where maybe one gun was a little overpowered and the other was not. But you know, even Call of Duty has that. Other FPSs have that. That's totally normal. There's no reason to complain about it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this game. It's got everything to have fun, everything. And just think about it. They added 12 new weapons. It wasn't even needed. They just did it to please the fans. And, you know, fans still complain. And it's like, do you really need all those weapons? I wouldn't need this SMG. It's fun, this SMG, but I was really happy with the weapons I have. But, you know, now there are new weapons, and I'm like, okay, I'm curious. I want to try them out. So why not? But look at that, again, when you see how huge this map is. You know, with the chopper in the background and the explosions and, you know, the sandy hills and everything. Doesn't this just feel like Battlefield 4 to you? At least it does for me. And maybe it's a little late for the, you know, ones that are already hating on this game so much. But as you know, with a lot of games, there's going to be a lot of new fans coming in, a lot of people coming from tired of Call of Duty coming here and realize that this game is much better. And we'll have a lot more new people and all those old timers that can just keep playing their same old Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 6. There's nothing wrong with this. In the meantime, will enjoy both games to the fullest because I think both games are rocking. And so with that, the match is ending. I hope this gave you a good overlook about the double cross map of the new DLC. And I hope to see you in the next map. Take care. Bye.